We're obsessed with them at the moment. There's pencils, there's powders, there's stencils, there's 3D, there's implants, there's eyebrow extensions, the latest thing that's hot in the beauty industry at the moment. Where have we come from with our eyebrows? We've had different arches, we've had different lengths, we've had different thicknesses. We've shaved them completely off and we've drawn them back on. Which of our history styles has influenced our trends today? Come with me and I'm going to investigate the history of eyebrows, and I'm going to show you some interviews with some eyebrow specialists. What is beauty holding in store for our beautiful brows? As early as before Christ, the Egyptians wore grey or black powder made from lead-based mineral on their eyebrows. Moving through the ages to dyed goat's hair and mouse hide wigs in the 17th century, we have come a long way with our eyebrow styles today. Let's start with the 1920s. The 1920s consisted of pencil-thin, overextended eyebrows. Clara Bow, a popular movie star known as the it girl of this era, adorned this style. Women would shave off their entire brow and redraw their brows back on. There wasn't much of an arch, and the line could and would reach to the temple. The shape was thin and downward turning, giving the bearer a worried or sad expression. Jazz Pampling is an eyebrow specialist. She has been specialising in eyebrows for the last 5 years. Whilst at the Sydney Beauty Expo, I attended one of Jazz Pampling's master eyebrow classes and had the opportunity to interview her.
So as a makeup artist, I didn't understand how to finish eyebrows, and then I sat in on a class run by Ray Morris, and Ray just spoke about eyebrows every day, and I knew I had to learn more because Ray Morris said, I won't look at your work as a makeup artist if you haven't finished that eyebrow. And I just said, right, I have to learn about brows. And so I just went on a mission and went to TAFE and did a waxing certificate, and went and worked for a company doing brows, and brought it all together and looked at how the people that are around me did brows and how Ray liked brows and what was in fashion, and kind of developed what I like. It became something I specialised in by accident. I did it because I thought, all right, I need to learn about brows so I can be an amazing makeup artist. I'll just go and do a little bit of brows for like 3 months, just enough to get me through until I pick it up. And then I did it and I just became obsessed. And I can't open a book without, like, if I don't like an eyebrow, I will photocopy it, pencil it in with lead pencil until I can tweak it and find what I like.
Did you hear me say mouse hide eyebrow wigs before? Let's just back up a bit. It's true. And Danielle from Final Touch has created a modern version of the eyebrow wig for women today. In the 18th century, false eyebrows were used and made from mouse skin. The owner of Final Touch Brows, Danielle, created eyebrow wigs because she had had a lot of family members from her mother's side of the family suffer from cancer. They had lost their hair, their eyebrows, their eyelashes, and she had seen how this affected their confidence. Danielle found it challenging to find a one-shape-fits-all brow wig. She had to figure out the right shape and the right size that would fit all face shapes. Final Touch brow wigs are 100% human hair. The hair is treated, then injected into a skin-like PU base. What do you think of them overall though? Like, what's your impression of them?
I think they're good.
Yeah, trying
They're
them.
comfortable, it doesn't hurt. Oh my god, I can see like one and not the other. Look at that.
Eyebrow extensions are the latest eyebrow treatment, and it is exciting. Fine synthetic hairs are individually placed on the client's eyebrow hair and or on the skin to enhance the original brow shape or recreate a fuller brow. You can now learn how to create thicker brows, fill in gaps, bring the beginning of brows closer together, or extend the tail of the end of the eyebrow. Final Touch Brows uses a surgical grade adhesive that is skin safe and has a shelf life of 2 years. The Swedish silent actress Greta Garbo is well known for her high, rounded, thin arch going into the 1930s.
There's a massive misconception that a high arch equals youthful, lifted features. I think because we're creating this line, we think, oh, well, subtly, we're doing this to our features. But everyone knows that brows frame our face, but we don't really understand why. And what we want to create in our features is an upside down triangle. It's the beauty triangle, and it's what we as humans every day recognize in the face shape as being beautiful, but we don't go, oh yeah, that's a great upside down triangle you've got going on there. When your brows are softer, it really helps to highlight and create more width through there, which really enforces that upside down triangle. And as we get older and everything sort of starts to go like this, and we get heavier through our jawline, when you soften that arch, you bring the focus back up to here because there's more width through here, and you create that more youthful finish. So our brows frame our face in that regard. If the tail is too long, you can do this to the eye. If it doesn't angle correctly, you can do this to the eye. If you're too wide through here, your nose can be too wide. So lots of little lines, like they frame our features, but there's so much detail into why. And this misconception that I just want to open my eyes, I just want to open my eyes. It's people, as soon as they say that, usually want a thin brow, but if you look at eyebrows that are too thin, you highlight this puffiness, which only goes like this as we get older. So if you grow that brow, if you have a fuller brow, your brow can do exactly what we believe it to be, which is to frame. As soon as you thin it out, it stops.
The 1940s softened the high arch look with a rounded arch. This style is still favoured by people today. Veronica Lake wore her slightly thicker eyebrows in the 1940s, moving away from the serious look of the thin eyebrows from the decades before. Audrey Hepburn sported thicker brows, whilst the sultry Marilyn Monroe's brows had a beautiful balance of base, arch and length. Grace Kelly is another movie star icon who wore brows not too thick, not too thin, but just right. The 1960s were a mishmash of brow styles. The Italian actress Sophia Loren had shaved off her eyebrows completely, only to painstakingly draw them back on with each individual stroke. This differed from the decades past, where they drew one long line. Twiggy, a well-known model in the 1960s, on the other hand, adorned a well-maintained brow. At beauty school, the well-known theory behind the perfect eyebrow shape is taught. However, we have to ask if the standard line to angle theory taught at beauty school is enough to create a brow that suits everyone.
The theory of the lines and angles that we align a brow on is definitely there. I think what we need to do is go, okay, while that's a great theory, we aren't stencils, and that isn't going to work for everyone. And you have to be able to look at the face and go, well, if I just tweak that by a millimetre, that will look better for that person. The theory gives you something to start with, and then you need to move beyond that. Everyone for too long has been stuck in that box of it has to go like that, and I think that's why we've ended up with brows that don't work. 1, 2, 3, done. I knew that when as a makeup artist when I first started, I knew that I didn't like the eyebrow that was on the face, but I didn't have the confidence to do what I needed to do to make it better. And I think for so long, brows just were getting worse and the shape was just not really anything. And then we're now our mums are all telling us don't do what I did to my brow and tweeze it all off. So I think because our mums now realise that as we get older, we have no hair, it just gets thinner and thinner, we're now going, okay, maybe I need to just pull back a little bit.
The 1970s. Have a look at the eyebrows of popular celebrities during this time. Will the same brows that we wore as teenagers suit us in our older years?
Whatever shape you give your client as a teenager, that shape has to suit them for the rest of their lives, and it has to be maintainable for the rest of their lives. So yeah, maybe they can get away with a high arch because everything's sitting up and perky, but if everything starts to go down, their brow has to be able to maintain a youthful finish. When I work backstage at different fashion shows and I watch how different makeup artists, like some of the best makeup artists in the country, how they do brows, their line is all different. Right. So what it's about is finding your shape that you love doing, and people will come to you for that shape, kind of. I can create all types of shapes, but there's a definite theory in how I do brows, and that's that beautiful natural finish. And people come to me for that reason. So yeah, it's hard to teach people what I see because they see it just a little bit differently.
1980. Blue Lagoon star Brooke brought back full brows in the 1980s. The eyebrow arch was more in line with the natural brow, opposed to the high arch previously. Not everyone can pull off the big brow look. Some would say that during the 90s, women had a tendency to overpluck. We could see examples of the overplucking on celebrities like Drew Barrymore and Madonna. Look at Madonna's virgin brows compared to her 1992 thin slivers. In the early 2000s, Julia Roberts was wearing a full brow, albeit a little sparse in areas, but nothing a little eyebrow pencil couldn't fix. They were thick and groomed and made to look natural. Eyebrow pencil were used to soften the overall look.
If I could tweeze every brow, I would, but this eventually, if I tweezed I see 10 to 15 clients a day, 5 days a week, my hand won't handle it. So for me, what I like to do is wax with hot wax, the gentlest I can find, and then I'll finish with tweezers. I'll never shape a brow with wax. For me, I'm really just a strong advocate for not using strip wax. And we all know the damage that it can do. We all get taught the damage that it can do, but we use it because we just need to do a quick brow. So change the time that you have, and you can change how you use the products. And thread, I like thread, but if the person doesn't understand shape, you may as well go and get your brow waxed off. It's going to be the same problem. And make sure that whoever teaches you threading is amazing at it, because I've seen people with skin that's been cut, skin that's been taken off. They haven't taken the hair at the root, they've just shaved it clean off. In India, where it originated, they thread, but there's someone holding the skin. Whereas here, we're holding the skin and someone's threading for you. So someone's sole job is to hold skin. That's a huge difference. There's always going to be tension, there's less room for error. So just make sure that whoever's teaching you is teaching you like they are the best at it. That's the most important thing.
So why do we care so much about our brows? We have established by now that they frame the face and they help to create the beauty triangle. But is this scientifically proven? Yes, it is. In a 2003 MIT study, subjects were given pictures of celebrities and asked to identify them. In some pictures, they digitally edited out the eyebrows, and in others, their eyes. 60% of the time, people could recognize the celebrities if their brows were left, but the eyes were blurred out. When the celebrities' eyebrows were removed, though, subjects were only recognizing the celebrities 46% of the time. Brows play a huge role in facial expressions. This was proved by Paul Ekman, who wrote several books on facial expressions and emotions. Paul Ekman's research heavily influenced a TV series that ran from 2009 to 2011 called Lie to Me. It was a series where a team of people investigated crimes and wrongdoings using their facial expressions to figure out whether they were telling the truth or not.
So it's, an eyebrow up, or it's a flare of the nostril, or if it's a shrug of the shoulder.
Our eyebrows are the most expressive facial feature that we have. From happy, sad, disgust, anger, and fear. Each raising, frowning, or arch of the brow changes the expression on our face. Not only can the expression on the face help us to understand what another person is conveying to us or communicating to us, but it can also help us determine if the face we are looking at is a male or female, just by the thickness of the brow.
We all don't want to age, and it's a part of life. Some of my clients request that I do a thorough tweeze, and I will tell them, okay, I will do the most thorough tweeze I can, but there is going to be hair left behind. It's the most fragile skin pretty much on our body. So I fully respect any client that says please don't do any waxing through there. I couldn't exactly say exactly how much damage it's causing, but if you think about it, you're waxing that area easily once a month for the rest of that person's life. It doesn't matter whether you wax, tweeze or thread, you're pulling. That's absolutely long term, that's causing damage. So the more gentle we are, the better. But you know, we still have to pull to tweeze, we have to pull to thread, and we have to support for wax. So it's catch-22.
Yeah.
Like we think that we have to get every little hair. We'll teach clients not to get that. Maybe we leave a few hairs behind, but long term it's better for that area.
The Celebrities Without Eyebrows meme originated in 2009 on Tumblr, and it spread. Celebrities Without Eyebrows is a photo editing fad where images of famous people have been altered to appear as if they don't have eyebrows, giving us a new and better understanding of the common phrase, eyebrows frame the face. One well-known actress who has always strutted her non-photoshopped eyebrows is Whoopi Goldberg. The latest trend is shadowed, bold brows, also known as 3D brows or gradient brows. Kristen from a YouTube channel, Kristen Cooley, has come over to show me how she achieves this look with the use of makeup. 3D brows are achieved by softer eyebrow shadow in the base of the eyebrow, moving out into the tail end where the brow shadow gets darker. It can also include different shades of highlighter just under the brow to enhance the brow bone. Tweezing is also part of the 3D brow practice, just to crisp up and clean up the lines.
I think I started doing my brows like this probably about maybe a year ago, so I've been doing it for a little while now.
Yeah.
But that's when I first noticed it and tried it on myself. Obviously a few errors first, but finally got it mastered.
Would brows be the thing that you would go out with without, can you take it or leave it, or is it that thing that you have to have?
I think if you're going to wear a full face of makeup, you definitely want to have your brows. Don't think you would go out without it. Depending on your natural eyebrows though, if they're thick and full already, you probably could skip it. But for me, myself personally, I definitely wouldn't go out without them. I just think my eyebrow hairs are they're quite fine, so I don't get the fullness that I want in my own eyebrows. So I just like to pencil them in just to give a bit more definition to my face as well, to frame the face a little bit more.
All women want beauty confidence. That's why we have the expos that we have, and that's why women come to see you, because they want that. They want to feel beautiful, and if you can help them do that even just a little bit at home, they just really appreciate it. And because I give clients time, I have an hour. It's like their hour, and it's an hour for them. For mums and for working women, it's like, this is my hour to spend on me. And even if it is just the eyebrow, they really appreciate it. So I guess it's that, giving them that. Most are giving you 15, and the poor girls are working like that. They're exhausted. Yeah, because I don't just shape. I consult, then I shape, and then I teach, and it happens every time.
What do you call that? Do you still call it a brow shape or brow tidy?
I do call it brow shaping, but then I have an explanation, and so that it's about changing the perception that you're going in for a wax, because you're not. You're coming in for a full brow session with myself.
In 2009, I was married. My makeup artist was amazing. I absolutely loved her. She just did a terrific job. But as soon as she went to put on pencil on my brows, I was like, no, I look weird with brows. Before then, I'd spent my life with very fair ash eyebrows. They were never really seen. They were never penciled in. They just weren't really there. Here you can see me on my wedding day. Okay, no brows. Wow, what a difference. Well, since then, I went to beauty school. I went to beauty school and I had my first tint. I had the lightest tint there was because I was freaked out. And gradually I worked up to light brown, to medium brown, to dark brown. Now dark brown with a hint of black in it. I mean, you can't really get much more. You just can't go any further apart from doing black.
We're not symmetrical on either side. And as you start to get to know, if you get the opportunity to spend as much time on eyebrows as I do, and most beauticians don't because you're trained to do so many other things, you'll start to see little bits of bone that don't sit on the same side as, and so often if a brow is like that, unless the person's had a stroke, It can be the way the bone is sitting in the muscle, and the dead giveaway is usually through that eye line through there. If there's a bit more eyelid showing, you'll probably find that one's sitting higher. And like just look at how the bone through here sits, because that really affects where the tail is. And it can really, when you start to notice those things, it can really help you with your work, because you'll have confidence. You'll be like, hang on, this isn't me, this is because, and I can't fix that. So, and if you make even a little bit of difference, even a millimetre, it's a huge difference for that person, even though for you, you're like, that's really still not the same. So there's not enough training. I remember my waxing, because I did a waxing certificate, it was like 2 hours of brow work. And I just went, and if I hadn't have had the time and researched what Ray taught and that sort of thing, going into that waxing certificate, I would have come out and just been like, what am I doing? So, yeah, absolutely.
This is a segment from the Changing Beauty documentary currently in progress.